Hello and welcome to the 250 press conference leading up to the opening round of the 2021 Monster Energy Supercross Championship in Houston this Saturday. That's going to be a fun conversation for the 250 East Division. We've got Austin Faulkner, Joe Shimoda, Michael Mosman, Christian Craig, Jet Lawrence, Max Volan, Mitchell Oldenburg, and Jess Pettis are on the call. It's going to be a fun conversation. We got our Supercross media ready to go. And let's just dive into this thing and have some fun. Austin Faulkner, I'm going to come to you first. You know, the last two seasons, you've been great. You've got a lot of race wins. You've been close to getting that championship, but just came up a little short with some injuries. Is there mounting pressure now at this stage in your 250 career to get it done this year since you've been so close the last two?
I mean, not really any added pressure or anything. It's just like looking like it's going to be my last year to get it done. So not really any added pressure because I have obviously wanted to do it the past couple of years. It just hasn't worked out, and I've been close, but I haven't got it done. So it's just one of those things where I need to make it happen this year. I needed to make it happen the past 2 years, but what happened. And, we got a new bike and we're excited going into this year.
Quick follow-up, Austin. Are you 100% recovered from the injuries from a year ago? I mean, on Instagram, I've seen the videos. It looks like you're putting in your laps, but are you feeling 100%? And how is that bike setup coming along with that new motorcycle?
Yeah, injuries are all good. They had to take my spleen out, which you can live without a spleen. That's not a huge deal. But they had to take a decent chunk of my pancreas out, which was kind of a not the greatest thing. So I haven't had any side effects from it, really. Honestly, I healed a lot quicker than I thought I would. And they said that I shouldn't have any problems until maybe I'm a lot older, and then I might have to get on some medication or something like that to, I don't know, help with what they had to do to my pancreas. But I feel really healthy, really good on the bike. And as far as the new bike goes, it's good. It's good now. We had to, there's quite a bit that changed about the bike, and we had to, we kind of came into it trying to set it up like last year's bike, which didn't really work with the change of the geometry and just the new bike. So kind of had to figure out how that works, as you kind of always have to do with a new bike. But once we figured it out, we started making good changes, and we got it working good now.
Awesome. I'll see you this weekend. We'll open it up now to the Supercross media. We'll start with Jason Wygant and Racer X.
Yeah, thanks. I will go to Max Volan. What has been your progress so far? Were you surprised to end up racing in the earlier coast? Would you have liked to have more time, or are you ready to go?
The original goal was to go to the second coast, but the schedule kind of switched up a little bit, and the way the schedule was is it was going to work out best if we did the first coast, because we get a short amount of races in a short amount of time, so I can learn a lot in that short amount of time. And racing's been, riding test track and testing has been great so far, so I'm feeling really comfortable on the bike and ready to go.
Okay, thanks. I'll let other people get in, and I'll come back later. I know everybody's got questions. Thanks.
Thanks, Jason. Steve Giberson, Vital MX.
For Joe, after the outdoor season finished up, you had a great race there, but it was also job hunt time. How did the deal with Pro Circuit come together, and how are you settling in onto the team there?
Honestly, I got the bike literally 2 months ago. I've been on the bike a month and a week, but right away I feel comfortable. So it was we had really short time to prepare, but I think we did all we could do. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable going to the year 2. So yeah, I don't know until I get to the race.
How did that whole deal come together?
What?
How did that whole deal come together? Was it not long after the race, or were there tryouts? How did it work for you?
So we had a test ride. I guess we had 4 people, and it was actually we had to ride Supercross, and I haven't ride Supercross after outdoor and a new bike, and it was kind of sketchy. But then after that, we had another 2 week of like team deciding who they want to take, and that's how they came up together.
Okay. And Mitchell, you've got a bit of a different kit going on there. Talk about the team setup for this year.
Yeah, second year team, but new title sponsor with Muck Off Racing. So really cool, especially with everything going on in the world and COVID and all that stuff, to bring in kind of an unknown sponsor to our sport, give them some decent exposure, and just really stoked to be working with those guys this year.
Yeah, I think people that have been riding mountain bikes are familiar with Muck Off, so it's kind of cool to see them to come over to this side as well.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't really know much about it, and then actually was pumping up my mountain bike tires one day and noticed I had Muck Off tubeless system in my bike, so that's pretty cool. It's something I had no idea about.
Yep. Cool. I'll let some other people jump in.
Thanks, Steve. Michael Antonovich, Swap Moto Live.
Thanks, Daniel. This one will be for Christian Craig. Christian, you guys have been working for quite some time, the transition over to the Yamaha, everything else that's gone into that. How does it feel to know that you're going to race the first coast this season?
Well, yeah, it feels good. I mean, as soon as I got on the bike in October, I felt awesome, comfortable right away. There was no question marks of like, did I make the right choice? I fully believed in the bike right away. I believed in the training program that I was about to get thrown into. And I mean, we've just been working ever since. And every day at the Supercross track, we literally are battling. We are at each other's necks every day. And, one of us gets the better of the others. And I feel like we put ourselves in a race situation almost every day at the track. And I let the team kind of, they pick who goes first. And, I feel like I'm ready and I believe that I'm ready. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Cool. My last one is for Michael Mosman. Michael, you're a guy that has a lot of change, but not a lot at the same time, because this is pretty much the same motorcycle, but a whole new dynamic. After missing the entire nationals this year with that concussion, how is it to come in with a completely fresh start?
It's been really good. It's been really good to get a fresh start and had a few years of, just building. And now to, kind of come at it from a different angle and try to hone the skills even more. And it's been really exciting. It's been good to work with a new team. I get a lot of attention because right now it's only me and Barsha riding. And so we've had extra amount of time to dial in the suspension. That's something that I didn't get as much in years past. So I'm stoked. Everything seems to be working out great. So I'm excited.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Michael, Billy Rainford.
Hey guys. Hey, thanks, Daniel. No surprise here. The Canadian here. I'm going to ask a question to old Jess Pettis there. Hey, Jess, how you doing, man? Oh,
not too bad.
All right. Well, hey, you have got an opportunity right now that few Canadians have really had throughout history and stuff. And I mean, you're down there training with all like the top guys. You've got guys that have championships, guys that have won races, obviously. Can you just kind of sum it up for us? Like, I mean, you've had some pretty good success in your, in your kind of your rookie year there in Supercross, but tell us about how much different it is this year, like with training with where you're training and everything, and just what you're hoping for looking into the weekend here.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. The opportunity came up to come down here to Florida and train at the Baker's factory. So I came down here about 2 months ago, and it's been good. It's been a great off season, and I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, I raced Supercross in 19 and feel like I had some good results, in the top 10 and a top 5, and then wanted to come back and do Supercross in last year, 2020, but ended up tearing my ACL, and I was out all winter rehabbing that. So to get the opportunity to come down here and try and, make it back down here in the States, I'm pretty pumped on that, and with a good program.
Nice. And just to follow up there, can you give a sense of where you feel compared to 2 years ago? I mean, obviously with the intensity of your training and stuff like that, kind of your hopes, what are you hoping for this weekend?
Yeah. Obviously I got, more preparation and more time on a KTM, so that helps. And then, being down here, I feel like I've been in the right hands. So, just come into the weekend and, just hoping to be in the mix and battling with those guys and, see how it unfolds.
Nice. Thanks. Good luck, Jess.
Brad Gephardt, Big MX Radio.
All right, thank you, Michael. This one's for Jet Lawrence. Jet, after all of the videos and the sort of hype that's been building around, how much are you champing at the bit to be able to not only perform your best, but also silence some critics that have, I don't know, maybe grown tired of hearing about you for the last 4 months?
Yeah, I had a really good off season with some sponsorships, and yeah, I had a project with Red Bull, as most people would know and seen the video, and really excited to do that. And I just really can't wait to get this season underway. Off season's been really good, and hopefully I can really keep this progress going from last year.
What's different about your motorcycle from previous year?
Nothing much has changed much. Just a newer bike, better engine, better suspension. And I basically have the same team from last year supporting me, so it's still feels like home for me, and I still got my brother as my teammate, so it really makes me feel like home. Plus, I know Kenny and Chase, so it's almost like another Geico team. But no, I just can't wait for the season to get going, and the team so far has been really great.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. David Iser, DMXS Radio.
Thanks, Daniel. Jed, this one's for you. A little Australian bird told me that you had a chance to go mountain biking with Daniel Ricciardo. I wonder, first of all, did you beat him, and how was that, having a little bit of a Australian backing here in the motor world?
Yeah, I of course I smoked him. He was on an e-bike even. No, it was really cool to catch up with another fellow Australian in the US. He was in California, and I was there also, so we got to catch up, and it was really fun. He was just another normal dude. We got Hunter, and Daniel got along really, really good. It was really cool to catch up to a guy like that, because he's massive in Australia and that stuff, and many other countries. So no, it was really cool. I had a fun time, and yeah, mountain biking was fun with him. It was just Hunter, Daniel, and Johnny came along also, and yeah, it was fun. I beat him on most downhills and uphills, but I would like to say I beat him, but we have to see what he says.
Okay, and then the next one for you is you got a chance to ride with Chad Reed, and what's it like being around such a legend? Maybe some racecraft, maybe a little bit of coaching, helping you out, and he's always supported you guys since you were mini bikes. So it's kind of cool to see full circle with him handing off some of his knowledge to you guys.
Yeah, he ended up coming out to the old Chad Reed farm the other day, and it was good to catch up with him, and he kind of gave us his knowledge from his racing and his seasons and that stuff, and it was really good. He would jump in every now and then in my moto and do a few laps with me, kind of bang bars, just get me ready for the weekend. This gave us, like I said, some good knowledge, and we're taking all in, soaking up like a sponge. And no, it's really cool, because obviously as kids in Australia, we looked up to him, because he was the guy who left Australia, went to Europe, and then went to America and won how many championships, and it was really cool.
Awesome, thanks. That's good, Danny. I'll let somebody else jump in.
Alex Gobert.
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, Alex Gobert, motoronline.com. This one's for Jet. You obviously gained a lot of experience last year, so how different is the mindset coming into 2021?
Mindset is still the same. It's just to ride as best I can, make sure I ride smart, and yeah, I've definitely soaked in a lot of stuff from last year. Got to race a lot of fast guys and learned a lot of good lessons, some the easy way, some the hard way. But no, I'm just going in with an open mind, make sure I stay focused on what I'm trying to achieve, and just make sure I'm 100% every weekend, and make sure I walk away on both legs after every weekend.
And you've known for quite some time that you're going to start the season, on the first coast, this one being the East.
Yeah, I obviously was set on coming out at the first coast, because I don't think I could do any more laps because I basically started almost straight after, a week after the outdoors. So I've been doing some laps, and I definitely dizzy of doing some practice laps. So no, I'm definitely been set on the first coast for a while, and yeah, I'm definitely keen for it.
Thanks. And just a quick one for Austin. When it was announced today that you were obviously doing the East Coast, so when do you guys find out exactly what coast that you're riding?
Today. No, I'm just, I mean, not not literally, but I haven't like really gotten the word from Mitch, like, okay, you're definitely, I just kind of assumed, just kind of with, just, you know, some of the guys on the team, like either being hurt or just like, you know, whatever, like I kind of just assumed, and just from hearing the mechanics talk and everything, I guess I just kind of, just assumed, and then they kind of clarified it with men. Like, obviously we have to book flights and we were getting all that stuff handled, like last week. So, that was, I mean, I didn't really know that much, but this year I feel like it's almost maybe a little less, I guess, critical to start on which coast, because I mean, between the time of the first race and then like, I guess, East Coast and West Coast starting, it's only like a month or something like difference. It's not as long as we're doing all the races, you know, back to back to back. So I wasn't as worried about it. We're like in previous years, it's like another, you know, 6-7 weeks between the start of each coast. This year I was just kind of, you know, chilling, and we did a new bike too, so any, you know, testing and other stuff, you know, I'm ready, but I wasn't in a rush, so I was kind of just either way.
And do you pay much attention, you know, what the star guys are doing or what your rivals are going to be doing, or is it just a case of focusing on you being ready?
Yeah, no, I didn't, honestly, being out here in California, usually I'm able to ride with some guys too, to even, you know, get a feel for anything. I've ridden with nobody other than my teammates. Like, I've went to public tracks and I went and, you know, to all the tracks in California, but I've literally seen nobody. So I didn't know what anybody else was doing. I guess in a way I don't like really care. I'm going to show up to whether I'm riding East or West Coast, and I'm going to try to beat everybody that I line up against. So it doesn't, I guess, really matter. But and especially this year, like, it doesn't really matter if you like all the races are pretty much going to be East Coast. It's not like, you know, West Coast, you know, more hard packed dirt, East Coast more, they're all, there's not really like a East and West. It's just kind of races this year. So it doesn't really matter.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I got one for Christian Craig. Christian, you've won multiple heat races in your career. You've won 250 main event. So you've heard the crowd and the volume and kind of what that feels like inside the stadium. You also raced in Salt Lake City where it was just that kind of eerie silence. How important is it for you just knowing that what it feels like to have that volume and kind of hear that? How cool is it, and what does it mean to you to have them back in Houston this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge having the fans like sitting on the line when the announcers, you know, doing the starting line and naming everybody, and the crowd goes crazy. Just the stuff like that, you get those pre-race jitters, and it was hard to kind of get that in Salt Lake. You still, obviously, racing's the same. You kind of tune that out, but the feeling of just walking in the stadium with fans, and even though it's limited, it's still going to be a good feeling.
And you mentioned the jitters that you get. Do those jitters end up being a positive usually as you're kind of waiting there, maybe those last 30 seconds or a minute?
Yeah, I mean, you enjoy those. That's why you do it. You know, that's why you race. You love that feeling and kind of the unknown and just focus that you kind of get in that zone. So, you know, that's what it's all about.
Cool. Dark Side, Moto X Pod.
What's up, guys? First question's for Michael Mosman. We talked to you recently, and you talked about how thrilled you were just to have a change and working with Tyler Keefe, the connection you had with him. It's been about a month since I talked to you. How has that grown, and how has that improved what you've been doing during the week?
How has it grown? Just getting more time together, getting used to it. I love all the guys on the team. So far, my mechanic Jay has been solid, and TK, him and I think a lot alike, and so that's been really good. And just it's cool. He like even before I was riding, he is really interested in the details of racing, and the technique. And that's something that I'm very interested in, something that I'm always honing. And so just being around that has been really good. How he encourages that and stuff. And, but yeah, I love all the guys, Rich, our crew chief, and Adam, suspension guy. It's been quality.
Right on. Next question is for Max. It's been a little bit since I've talked to you, but your amateur program with your dad and your uncle was always very thought out. Everything was structured in a certain way. You weren't going to go into the pro ranks as early as you are now. That changed pretty quick. Are you comfortable with that? Are you ready? How was that sudden change of going, okay, I'm going pro?
Yeah, well, my dad and my uncle have always done all my program and stuff like that. And yeah, it is a little bit earlier than we originally planned, but they've have 40 plus years of experience of racing, and they put all their efforts into me, and they put their work in, and I'm ready. So yeah, I'm just ready to go out there and do what I can do.
All right, just one quick fun question for you. Will we see handguards this weekend?
Absolutely.
All right, that's all I got.
Thanks, Darkside. Jason Wygant, Racetracks, will come back to you.
Thanks. This is for you, Christian. Just give us an idea of the actual timeline of switching teams, because in the end, your previous team ended up shutting down, but we kind of heard it. You were probably moving on anyway, and then that led people to think that maybe you were tipped off and you left for a reason. So could you just clarify the timeline and why you decided to leave the team you were on, and then when you found out that they were going to shut, what your reaction was to that?
Yeah, there was a lot of rumors stirring when it kind of, father-in-law invested in the new team. I knew that the team was folding, so that's why I switched teams. But I did all this, I signed in when we were in Salt Lake, an agreement. So this was all before I had any idea about Geico shutting down. And man, it still hit me when I did hear about the team shutting. I saw pictures recently of the race shop and how it's not there anymore, and how it kind of all got torn away. And it's so sad to see how much history, that team had. And I was just glad to be a part of it for 5 years.
What made you decide to make the switch? Because obviously you weren't switching because you thought the team was going to shut down. You just wanted to do it. So what led you to try another team?
Well, I mean, you could see in the past few years, I was kind of in a stale position. I was right on that verge of breaking through, but would kind of have hindering injuries. But yeah, I kind of got a sense of, it's time to try something different and give it one last shot in this 250 class before I go 450. And I've always liked the program that Star has done with the trainer and how everyone rides together. I've always felt like I needed that, and that was kind of like a missing piece for me. So now that I've got that, man, I've loved every day. Every day riding is so much fun. I look forward to it. So yeah, I mean, I fully believe in this program, and Swanee and Bobby Reagan, just everyone. It's a winning team. So I'm expected to win. So I'm gonna try to do.
All right, thanks, Christian. This one is for Austin Forkner. So you beat Dylan Ferrandis. You really beat him straight up late in the year to get right back in the title hunt, and then you crashed out of the last race. We don't see you the whole outdoor season. Is there some motivation to remind everyone of how well you were riding right before you had that crash at the finale? Because they always say you're only as good as your last race. We haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, more so, probably more so reminding myself again, and it seems like kind of a broken record, kind of the same thing as last year. It was kind of a weight off my shoulders, I guess, last year whenever I think it was St. Louis was my first, race when it was like the second round or whatever of last year. I was like, okay, I can, have that's kind of every rider's kind of thing. Like if you have a big injury or you've been off the bike a long time and you come back and you get that result that you're looking for, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I can do it again, now go, like, it's almost like get to that step and then go forward. So, it's kind of the same thing this year. I guess I wasn't off the bike quite as long as last year with my ACL, but this year it was probably like a more serious injury. But yeah, it's just another missed outdoor season, another time off the bike that I didn't want. So it's just kind of getting back into that, getting that first reaching that first step and then going from there. And obviously long term is obviously like the championship and making the whole season, not getting hurt this year would be an accomplishment in itself for me. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for, I guess.
Okay. Thanks, Austin. And just one more for Mosman. It's like a lateral move. It looks like in a way you're moving from Husqvarna to Gas, but is it actually different? Obviously the staff is different. Maybe the motorcycle is different. Does it feel different or does it feel the same in the end? Because I think on the outside, people always think, it's all the same. But is it actually that way?
When I first got on the bike, it was much more different than I expected. I remember it felt completely different. And now as we've fine-tuned it, it's something I've got comfortable with, right? And so, but they have a sick motor package this year, and they've improved that. I really like the Akrapovic pipe, and we just keep getting power out of the thing and keep fine-tuning the suspension. So overall, it is a different feel, like for the bike and how we've set it up and stuff. And obviously, I'm not stock to stock, and so there's a number of different things that have been different. My seat and different small things as well. So overall, it is different, but also motorcycle is a motorcycle, and ultimately you find familiarity.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks, Jason. Michael Antonovich, Swap Moto Live.
Thanks, Daniel. This one's for Austin Forkner. Austin, over these last few years, we've seen you refine your riding a little bit. When you first came in, the aggression was super high, and it led to a lot of mistakes and crashes and probably a really high parts bill for Mitch. Last year was better. Everything else was going on. Have you figured out, like, hey, this is the level to ride the 250 class without losing the raw speed that you need? Does it feel like you've kind of refined things even more for this year?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, obviously just every year you're going to figure stuff out. You're going to figure more and more stuff out. And I feel like even this year I've even figured even more stuff out as far as, we came in with a new bike this year, and I have spent, I would like, in a way, I feel like I've almost built the bike into what I've been testing so much stuff since I came out here to California, stuff that we just have to try some things. I've been testing a lot of stuff, and I figured out just almost really fine-tuning the bike and figured out which directions to go if we get to the race and I feel like I need to do something, So I feel like I've even gained experience just in the past, month with testing the bike and figuring stuff out like that. But yeah, obviously I've just kind of learned more and more and more every year, obviously. And I would like to, obviously cut down on injuries, obviously, but I was going for the championship last year. So that's just kind of stuff that happens sometimes. But yeah, I feel like I've learned more and more, and that's what's going to happen the more and more you're in the class, and just the more and more you ride Supercross. That's kind of a traditional rookie thing. I mean, usually is you come in firing and usually you have speed, but you don't put it together. But every year I feel like I've putting it more and more together. It's just, I'm close, but haven't gotten it done. So that's what I'm going to, obviously try to do this year.
Cool. Thanks. My next question is for Max Volan. Max, anytime a rookie comes in and they're on a factory bike, the expectation levels are super high. You guys went down to the Mini-O's to get your Supercross points. And I think everybody from the outside looking in that watches everything knew, hey, you just needed to get through there just to check off like a requirement. But you got a lot of flack about that people thought maybe he's not prepared or anything. What is the expectation going into this first year? Are you expected to be in race win and championship contention, or is it, hey, I just need to get through this healthy because it's a rush progression than what we maybe thought?
Well, yeah, Mini-O's was definitely just to get the points and be ready to race Supercross. And for expectation-wise, the team's not putting a lot of expectations on me, and I'm not putting a lot on myself. And the main goal is just to go out there, stay healthy, and get these races and the experience in.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Brian Converse.
Yeah, thanks. This message is for Austin. Austin, these these races this year and obviously finishing up last year. I mean, back to back to back to back to back. Do you feel that that's going to lend to you this year with your last year to really make it stick on the 250s?
I don't know. Last year, it kind of felt like if you got in a flow with how back to back the races were, you could be deadly. And I feel like that's kind of, I mean, we only did a few races. I guess that'd be you could ask maybe the 450 guys that were literally back to back to back. I only did 2 races that were back to back, and then the other guys raced. But I just know that when you get in a flow racing back like in a row like that, it can be deadly. And if you're really gelling with certain stadiums, soil or whatever, the dirt and stuff, that could also be deadly. So it's just it could work against you if you get to a track and you're like, man, I don't like this dirt. I'm not gelling with this, whatever it is. You got to be there for 3 races at a lot of them. So that's it can be good, can be bad, but yeah. I don't think it's a huge make or break. It's just now I feel like most of us are kind of used to it from last year. But I'm just happy that we're getting to race and go to a few different stadiums. That was looking like it might not happen at the end of last year, and glad that we all pulled together and we're getting to go racing.
Yeah, right on. And your thoughts on Houston as an opener, Texas? You like that dirt, I'm assuming.
I haven't even ridden at Houston, which I'm excited to do it, but I haven't even ridden there. But from watching, the dirt looks like kind of similar to Dallas dirt, like softer, typical Midwest Texas dirt, which I'm pretty familiar with being from Missouri. I went and did all the Texas races, and they had the amateur nationals in Texas, a lot of them. So I'm pretty familiar with Texas dirt, and I really like Dallas. So if it's anything like that, I think we'll be just fine. But kind of looking forward to getting back on some East Coast races this year. Whether I wasn't, like I was saying earlier, it didn't really matter whether you did East or West Coast. A lot of the races were going to be Midwest to East. So that's I'm looking forward to getting back on some rutted tracks coming from West Coast where the tracks aren't quite as rutted. Looking forward to getting back on some of the that type of dirt. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Daniel.
David Iser, Brad Gephardt, Darkside, you guys are coming up next. I want to sneak one in though for Jess Pettis. Jess, being down there in Florida, obviously you're doing the work and you're going through the physical part of that program and being in shape, but what kind of gains do you feel you've made down there from a riding perspective? Maybe just improvements to your technique or fundamentals. Is there anything that you can point to that you've gained while down there other than just the physical fitness side?
Yeah, obviously since the day I got down here, we've made huge gains. Just being a part of the program, it's such a good structure and everything's monitored from, every time we're on the track to lap times, and just the guys I'm riding with, I feel like it brings the intensity up. And then having, Zach and Coop and all those guys around, it all helps with just technique stuff and little pointers they have here and there, and, for the whoops or whatever it is. So just having I feel like all the eyes of those top guys, they've seen it all. So, that's all helped me. And then the intensity every day, it's every day's race day, kind of like what Christian said.
Awesome. Darkside.
Yeah, real quick, Christian. So I guess you're aware of the bet that your boy Derek Rankin, your mechanic, made with Mathis. Is that any extra motivation to see his head get shaved?
Well, I think it's between Kiefer and Mathis, but yeah, that's a lot of motivation, right? Am I right that Mathis got to pick his head? Is that the bet we're talking about?
Yeah, Kiefer brought it up, but I think Rankin Derek might have been on the phone at the time. But yeah, that's the bet for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I try not to really care about that stuff, but that is motivation for sure.
All right, I like it. Jet, this one's for you, man. My Australian buddies over at the Moto Limited Network are super, super hyped on you. You're always a fun guy. They talk about what a great personality you are. Really, what I want to know is right now, I'm seeing you during this press conference laughing and giggling, having a lot going on. Man, you got to fill me in. What's going on? What's so funny?
Joe, I have Joe's number from last year, and Joe Shimoda and I've just been texting each other stupid stuff.
I like it, man. I like that. I like seeing the fun between you guys. I hope you guys continue that as your career goes on. Appreciate talking to you. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
David Iser.
All right, thanks, Daniel. This one's for Austin and Jet. You guys, sports are built on rivalries, and last year there's unfinished business, and the fans are pretty pumped. You guys are lined up for the same coast. I wonder where that rivalry is right now and going forward, unfinished business from last year. Go ahead first, Austin. You're the old dude.
I don't know. I've been seeing everybody's trying to build it up. You know, everybody likes a rivalry. So that's kind of just what I chalked it up to. I mean, we got together in one of the last Salt Lake City races. I don't know if that was really like I mean, the start thing, we came together, I went down, and then we were battling that race. I don't know that it set us up for like a huge rivalry. That was just, you know, kind of something that happened. Yeah, I mean, I guess everybody wants a rivalry, so they just picked us too. But yeah, I mean, I didn't, like I said earlier, I didn't really know who was going to be on each coast. I was just trying to prepare as much as I could myself, and we had work to do with the new bikes, so I guess I didn't really, you know, worry about anybody else. I didn't have to worry about with myself and getting that new bike, you know, working. So, but we did that, and it's great. So, yeah.
All right. Jed, you want to pipe in there?
Yeah, everyone always tries to build some things up to make some things, make some drama to make it more exciting. Just like every TV show, they want drama. But yeah, it was a one-time thing. Who knows if we either decide to do a stupid move or anything, we'll obviously give the favor back. Obviously, if I do something wrong to him, he's going to give it back. That's how racing goes. But yeah, we did it there, settled it there, and yeah, like I said, if something comes up again, we know one of us is going to hit back harder and harder, and we'll just have to wait and see. And yeah.
All right, Daniel, thank you.
Brad Gephardt.
All right, thank you, Daniel. This one's for Joe Shimoda. Joe, once you got the brand new ride on the Kawasaki, what was the transition like for you onto the new machine? How quickly were you able to feel comfortable on it? And do you feel as comfortable on the Kawasaki as you did your Honda, which you were on for a number of seasons?
Yeah, it took me maybe 2 weeks to be able to ride 100%. Everybody kept telling me like, well, like having like the Honda has like a dual pipe and stuff. Sounds like it's more stable. Like, I'm not saying bad about Honda, but it's actually like Kawasaki. Like, I got used to it right away. It's actually like really stable. Like going through the whoops and stuff. I feel much better now than before. So, but we've been testing some stuff. It's getting better and better, and now it's where it's like you can attack 100% without having any fear. So yeah, I adapted to the bike really quick, and definitely a trustable bike.
Have you done any extra testing to make some changes to the bike between rounds? If there happens to be some things you don't like about it, you know what things do what as far as changes in the bike, if you happen to not be happy with how the bike is handling come the first round?
So I don't like changing some stuff in between rounds, and I don't like changing many stuff in practice. Like what I will do, it's like I will have a base setting, like my weight, my height, and how I ride. And after that, if we need small changes, we fix. And I just I get used to the bike, then bike get used to me. So it's like, I try to like not change some stuff and just like more care about my riding style than testing.
All right, great, thanks. My next question is for Mitchell Oldenburg. Mitchell, the first 3 rounds will basically be in your backyard of being from Texas, of course. Nowadays, anyway, not from Minnesota anymore. But like what needs to happen over the first 3 rounds for you to feel like you've built some momentum? Because that's something that you haven't been able to do over the last number of years with the injuries that you've amounted. What needs to happen in Houston for you to feel confident rolling into the following rounds?
Yeah, I think just stay off the ground mostly and just do what I know I can. Trust in what the work we put in and everything that comes along with that. I actually moved back to Texas in February, so in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but familiar with the dirt and the state and going to have a lot of family and friends there. So I'm just really stoked with the way life's been going lately and how I've been feeling on the bike, and just ready to kind of go give it my all and see what happens. But the first 3 rounds I think are going to be very important. Like Austin was saying earlier, it's if you can get some momentum and some flow going, it can be deadly. So just staying consistent, nailing the starts, and just kind of focusing on myself is going to be very important.
Okay, thank you. And if Max comes out swinging with the hand guards and he's doing really well, will you include that in your program as well?
No hand guards for me. I can't.
Thank you.
Can't do hand guards.
Thanks, Daniel.
Steve Giberson.
Hey, Christian, with spending the whole summer on the 450 and, getting a full season in there, was it tough to go back to the 250, or do you think that actually helps you out coming into this season?
Not on that rocket ship that I had to get on. No, it was that 450 I was on was nice, and that's where I want to be sooner than later. So no, there was no like trouble with the transition or anything. I got actually 3 days of outdoors and then I went straight to Supercross. So I think that kind of says how comfortable I was on the bike right away.
Okay. And Jet, for getting through the rookie season last year, what did you learn in there that you bring to this time around?
Yeah, I'm just make sure I'm more consistent. Because obviously last year I had the speed at a few races, but then other races I was making silly mistakes, and I just need to make sure I improve on that and make sure I'm just a lot cleaner through the whoops. And just, yeah, obviously I critiqued everything that I can in the off season to make sure I'm at 100% and better than I am last year, and make sure I learn from all my mistakes. And so far I feel like I've learned off most of my stuff, and I just have to make sure I learn off my racing stuff from last year. And I feel like I've mentally gone older with the decisions and that stuff on the racing smart on that. So no, I just have to make sure I ride smart and make sure I focus on what I'm doing and don't get too distracted with racing other guys and that.
Yeah, energy and exuberance versus being smart and getting the result at the end. Yeah,
exactly. Instead of being so excited because the rookie season, that stuff's just to make sure to kind of say, hey, you can have fun, but this still is your job. You gotta walk away after tonight. So yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Alex Gobert.
Yeah, this one's for Joe Shimoda. Last season, you finished top 3 in the championship, 13 points. But how special, how important is it to you to, potentially stand on the podium in a main event in Supercross?
Yeah, for sure. I did get third in the championship, but I didn't get podium throughout one race. So I was kind of happy, but not really, because my best result was the 5th, which was not where I'm looking for. But we get chances every year, so, and every race. So yeah, definitely this coming up season, for sure. My goal is to be like top 3 guy, and yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
We know you came from obviously the Geico Honda team now to PC to Kawasaki. So how closely does somebody in your position get to work with, Mitch Payton, who's obviously a legend in the sport?
Sorry, one more time. Like, I didn't really
How
get that.
closely do you get to work with Mitch Payton? How much feedback does he give you? And, when you work together, is that a close relationship?
I honestly I only saw Mitch maybe 5 times. He's usually working on a bike, so at the track I only saw him 2 times, and I don't really talk to him much about the bike. I just talked with mechanic, and mechanic tells Mitch Payne like if we want to make some changes or not.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple more, Michael Antonovich, Josh Mosman, and then Jason Wygant will close it. So Anton.
Cool. Thanks, Daniel. This one's for Joe too. Joe, despite Japan being the country that makes the majority of the bikes, on the starting lineup, we haven't really had a lot of Supercross racers come from Japan. You're the great hope right now, and you got to go back home for just a little bit over the off season. What's the feedback like from everybody back there? Do you have a lot of support? Are you the number one guy, or is it not really followed because they have their own things going on?
Like some people like said I'm like the fastest guys in Japan, but I never raced like professional in Japan, so it's like they think Narita or Kei Yamamoto, there's like a lot of champions out there. They think that they're faster than me.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like I did a podium at the Pala in a moto, and that kind of helped to everybody to realize like I'm not a slow guy, so not too much like they do have expectation to me to be good, but I haven't like heard like big stuff from them.
Cool. Jess Pettis, for you, you're kind of in the similar position. There's a very big established motocross contingent in Canada. That's a really great championship that we see a lot of American guys go up to. But is this your bid to come stay down in the U.S. full time? Is this like, hey, I want to be a U.S. guy, I want to race American Supercross and American Pro Motocross from now on, or is this just a trial run?
No, I for sure want to, try and do well down here and be established down here and hopefully end up with a ride and do the full-time series outdoors and Supercross. But it's one of those things, I can have a good thing up in Canada and I kind of have to come down here and prove myself. I'm not really expecting, a full-on ride right away before I come down. So hopefully get some good results and then put me in that opportunity to hopefully land something down here.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. See you this weekend.
Josh Mosman.
What's going on? Mitchell Oldenburg. You've ridden for factory teams. Now you're riding for the Muck-Off Honda team. Obviously, they have a lot of support coming from Honda. What are some of the differences that you've experienced going from factory teams now being with this team? What do you like about it? What do you appreciate about the new team?
Obviously, with any first and second year teams, there's a lot of growing pains, and especially with the team coming from Australia, not really knowing how things work here in the States has been a little challenging. But man, we got a really good bike this year. We had a really good bike last year, but I feel like we've made a lot of improvements and been working really closely with Jamie Ellis at Twisted Development, and then also Ricky Gilmore and KYB. So we have a really solid bike, and I can honestly say I haven't felt this comfortable on a bike in a really long time. So really blessed with kind of the opportunity that these guys have presented for me, and just excited to kind of pay them back with some decent results and get these sponsors and logos up on the podium.
Do you feel like the dynamic of the team gives maybe a different type of pressure put on your shoulders, or how does the dynamic go with you obviously being the only rider on the 250 class starting off the season?
Yeah, I think last year kind of put a lot into perspective for us, because really me and my mechanic Nate were the only ones who had done any racing in the States before. So there's a lot of I guess oohs and ahs that came for the Australians that came over last year, just not being here, not being around our Supercross series and our just our series in general. So they kind of put some things into perspective that, man, this is really, really cool. It's not just another day. This is something that we've all dreamed of since little kids. So to get to this level has been pretty amazing. But yeah, just the whole team's been awesome. We've been working really hard. We got a really good bike, and it's time to go make it happen on Saturday.
Awesome. Cool. And then another question, I got to throw this out there since I'm on with my little brother, Michael. Can you explain something about working with Justin Varsha? What do you like about it, and what's it been like mixing up with him?
Yeah, dude, brother, we made it, man. Good job. Let's go. Let's see. Working with Justin has been, it's been really fun. I would say that's like the main word I would use to describe it. The guy is an absolute unit. He is just a full-time kook. And I love him. It's been really fun all around. And I'm like particularly smooth. I would say momentum through corners and stuff is like some of my best quality traits. And he is like revs the throttle hard in the turn and like brake slide and then freaking pins it out. And I'm just like mellow like through the turn. So yeah, I think in the past few years I've kind of increased my aggressiveness, and sometimes to a fault. And so learning, I mean, he's got many years of experience in, block passing and that kind of riding. So we've been able to do a little bit of that together. That's one of the things I want to improve is my racecraft over the off season. So hopefully it'll pay off here soon. But it's been a blast to ride and work with Justin. I think it's worked well because I've rubbed off on him and he's rubbed off on me. So
awesome. And then last question, I'll throw this one to Christian Craig. What do you think about just the new schedule and kind of racing back to back? Do you like that after going to Salt Lake City? And what do you think pros and cons are going to be about going forward?
Oh, I love it. I mean, you kind of got to like it. We're in this situation all together. And if you have a bad mentality about this whole thing, then why even go out there? So I'm just glad that we're lining up and, we get to battle, and not just every week, but 3 times a week pretty much. So now I'm excited. And it's different stadiums. And I've raced Houston once. So really looking forward to that because that dirt's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Last one, Jason Wygant, Racer X.
Oh, I'm still here. This is for Jess Pettis. What are you pitting out of, and is there a chance that you could become a part of one of the factory teams? What's your setup, and what's your plan if things go well?
I'm just going to be pitting out of a sprinter, same as I did it in 2019. And then, so it's a bit of a factory support run program, but out of a sprinter van, I guess. Like I have a good bike, same bike as Max is on. So it's a good program that we brought down here working with the US guys, but out of a sprinter. So it's all right. I'm cool with it and it should be fun.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you guys all for being on today, and safe travels. We'll see y'all in Houston, and we'll get this championship going. Thank you, guys.